Hello and welcome to your second video for the weekend. This is your solution video for yesterday's puzzle. So we're going to have to do a quick recap and then we'll go into the solution. But what I will say before we start is if you have got stuck with this puzzle and you're not sure of whether you've done it right or you didn't understand part of it, if you start watching the video and you spot something or you see something that helps you, pause the video, have another go, and then come back and watch the rest of this solution video to see whether that was the correct thing. Okay, so let's do the recap. So yesterday I gave you a puzzle which involved two rectangles. The larger rectangle represented a piece of gold leaf and it measured 11 centimetres by 5 centimetres. And we were being told that we had to cut this piece of gold leaf up into smaller rectangles that measured 2 centimetres by 3 centimetres. The idea was we had to try and get as many different rectangles out of that, or as many of those rectangles out of our big piece as we could, wasting as little of the gold leaf as we possibly could at the end. So we'd have as little bit left over when we finished cutting our rectangles out, but hopefully not a big piece that would be a big waste because it's very expensive. So obviously we don't want to do that. So that was the challenge we had, as many rectangles as we could out of the big rectangle, which was 11 centimetres by 5. And all of the smaller rectangles had to be 2 centimetres by 3 centimetres. Okay, so what we're going to need to do is I'm going to redraw up the big rectangle and we're going to look at how we might divide up the length and the width to maximise the number of rectangles we can get. Okay, so let's start by drawing it out. So here we go. This is our large rectangle. This is our piece of gold leaf. It measures 11 centimetres across and it measures 5 centimetres down. So all we need to do now is we need to think about different ways in which we could mix up the length and width of the small rectangle to fit in with the length and the width of the big one. So a quick recap. The smaller rectangle measures 2 by 3. So what we need to do is we need to think of combinations of these two numbers that will make up the width of our big rectangle. We also want combinations of these numbers that will make up the length of our rectangle. Now the good news is when we talk about the width, it's very easy and very straightforward, okay? Because 2 and 3 makes 5. So I know one width and one length of the small rectangle will make the width of the big rectangle. When it comes to the length, it's slightly different, and here's where you have to be clever because there's different possibilities. If you look at the 3 and 2, different ways you could combine 3 and 2 to make 11. Well, we could have 3, 3, 3, which makes 9, and then add the 2 on, which gives us 11. Okay? Or we could just have 1, 3, and then we could have 2, 2, 2, and 2, which would give us 3 and 8, which would be 11. Okay? Now the fact that there are two different answers is a good thing because we're actually going to think of this as two different rows. So we're going to have a bottom row and we're going to have a top row. And we're going to use the fact that these two numbers add up to 5 to do different rows as we go across. Alright? So I'm going to start across the bottom and I'm going to use the idea of having 2, 2, 2, 2 and 3 making 11, and I'm going to put in 5 rectangles along the bottom. All right? Okay, so as you can see, I have got 4 of my rectangles standing up and the 5th one is laying down. Okay, but if you look at it, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3 makes 11, so there's no gaps going across. What I have got is I've got a big gap here, which we know is going to be 3, and a smaller gap here, which we know will be 2, which is good because the dimensions of our smaller rectangle are 3 and 2. So what it means is, starting from this side, instead of having the rectangles standing up, we're going to have to lay them down. Okay, which means they're going to go further across. So let's start drawing those in. Okay, how many have we got? We've now got 8 rectangles, all right? What is the gap left across the top? Well, we've got 3, 3, 3 is 9, so that little bit left there is 2. We also said that this length left here was 3, which means we can slot another rectangle in, but this one again will have to stand up. But it will cover that whole of that gap. So if you look at it, how many have we now got? We had 5 across the bottom, 6, 7, 8, and we've just added a 9th. So we have managed to get 9 rectangles. There is our leftover. It's a very small bit of leftover, but I'm going to ask you a supplementary question now, and you can pause the video if you want to work out this answer before I give it to you. But how big is that little piece that we've just left over? All right, so how big is that piece that we've left over? Let's have a look. Now, this length here is 3 centimetres. This length here is 2 centimetres. So the gap here is just the 1 centimetre. Same, the length here is 2, so the length here is 2. However, the tall length would be 3, which means the gap or the difference is going to be 1, which means that the piece that we have left over measures 1 centimetre by 1 centimetre, and that is quite a small amount considering the size of the piece that we started with. So there we have it. We have 9 rectangles we've managed to cut out, and we've only managed to waste, or we've only had to waste, 1 small square which measured 1 centimetre by 1 centimetre, which I think is a pretty good going, and I'm sure you'll be able to sell that small bit of gold leaf at the end when you're finished. Now, thank you very much for watching. Obviously, you know it's Sunday, which means that tomorrow being Monday, we will be back as usual with a daily puzzle in the morning and our solutions in the afternoon. If you haven't picked up on it, the times are pretty set now, so we do release the puzzle video in the morning at 9:30, and the solutions are released on YouTube at 5:30. We do post the links on Twitter as a reminder as well. But if you're on the YouTube channel, please don't forget, you can like, you can share with other people, share out what we're doing so that more people can see it, and obviously subscribe as well. But thank you very much, as I say, for watching all of our videos, and we will be back with another week's full starting tomorrow morning. Thank you.